Ambassador, this is inadvisable, Toby said to Ambassador John Wintersmith as he drove their armored grav limo along the capital streets. This meeting could easily be held at our embassy. And look like a scared little bitch? Not happening, John said as he reviewed his notes in the back seat. We don't even know if it's a legitimate threat. For all we know, Axleia is just rattling our cage. Unlikely, Ambassador. True, John said as he patted his sidearm. Regardless, we must carry on with business as usual. We need to make an appearance every now and then just to show we don't give a shit. Last thing we want to do is hole up like a bunch of pussies. Besides, this meeting could be quite profitable. It's popcorn, sir. We are exposing ourselves over popcorn. It's not popcorn. It's a trade deal with the XZLI. They seem to almost be worth a fuck, but they have the same view of cowards as we do, John said as he scrolled over to a new page. And I know for a fact that Skippy somehow knows we have a bullseye on our backs. We don't want to look like porkies now, do we? He said with a grin. Besides, I haven't met their ambassador yet, and this visit to their embassy would be a good opportunity to schmooze a little, pop up some popcorn, maybe build up a little goodwill. Goodwill, sir? Are you feeling? Thoom. The limo rocked from a massive impact that wiped out the shields and blew a hole through the hood of the vehicle. Toby expertly spun the damaged vehicle perpendicular to the line of fire as the limo, belching flames and smoke, lost power and slid to a halt. He grabbed a Juan Harbinger assault rifle from a rack overhead and leapt from the vehicle. John quickly punched the driver's partition, and a panel fell away, revealing an AK-47 and an ammo pouch. He grabbed them and dove from the vehicle just as a second massive impact nearly caved in the armored window next to him. It seems that you have an admirer, sir, Toby said, as he clamped a sensor to one of his eye stalks and started scanning rooftops and windows. Toby, what is that? John said as he pointed at the Harbinger. Is now really the time, sir? I guess not, John laughed as he leaned against the wrecked limo. See any thoom? The entire limo was knocked several inches backward and spun a few degrees from the blow. John was thrown away from it and onto his face. Fuck! He yelled as he held the small of his back. Shit, we have company! He yelled as humans armed with military blaster rifles started to spill out of two alleyways behind them. John immediately opened fire in controlled bursts, hitting several attackers before they could even get out of the alleys. All of the victims immediately fell to the ground, screaming and violently convulsing, blood starting to seep from their eyes and ears. Toby spun around moments later as blaster bolts started to be hastily fired in their direction, and hit 3 more with carefully placed shots. Those unfortunate souls joined their comrades, violently thrashing around on the pavement. Red tips, they have fucking. A warning cry was cut short as another round hit home and another victim started seizing on the ground. The survivors tried to flee in terror and were cut down. Nobody escaped. Thoom! Pieces of the limo flew into the air as another massive impact shook the area. Just like old times, eh, Toby? John said as he slammed another magazine home and chambered around. Unfortunately, at least they are slower than the BU. Thoom! The trunk popped open as another round struck the side of the limo directly in front of John. Did you get eyes on our friend? John asked, peeping over the side of the wreck. No, sir, and for fuck's sake, get down! Toby yelled as he snaked the sensor-clad eye stalk over the hood. Thoom! The next round hit the hood, ripping off Toby's eye stalk. Toby fell over backwards onto the pavement. Shit, Toby said calmly. That was our only sensor. Never mind the fucking sensor. Are you okay? John asked as he raised his rifle trying to spot the gunner. I'm fine. It wasn't my shooting eye, Toby said as he pulled out an auto-injector and jabbed at his destroyed eye stalk. A mix of drugs and nanobots quickly stopped the bleeding and inhibited shock. He looked up at John in alarm as he rose above the wreck searching buildings along the line of fire. Sir! Morgana Farstan looked at the scene through the scope of the Gauss anti-tank rifle she had set up on the roof of a nearby building. She frowned. Those guys she hired were absolutely useless. Best guns in the Federation, my ass, she thought to herself as she watched their death throes. It was supposed to go smooth. She knocks out the limo, then they sweep in behind and wipe them out. So much for the best-laid plans of mice and men, she chuckled while redirecting her attention to what was left of the vehicle. If nothing else, she could just hammer it to pieces, but she had to be quick. It wouldn't be too long before the cops showed up. At least she managed to hit that little shit of a receptionist. "Oh, hello there," she whispered to herself as she saw a little flash of Terran khaki starting to emerge from the rear of the limo. "Sir, get down!" Thum. The round hit the limo in the area around John's right arm, blowing it off almost at the shoulder and throwing him down onto the street. "Fuck!" John yelled as he ripped an auto-injector from his jacket pocket. "That was my fapping hand, you fucker!" "Sir, may I take this opportunity to call you one stupid fuck?" "You may, Gunny. Feel free," John said as he fought back a wave of nausea which quickly subsided as the drugs kicked in. Thum! The vehicle slid back another foot from the impact and one of the doors bulged outward between John and Toby. "Any tactical genius would be deeply appreciated, sir." "Well, I only have one idea," John said as he took an inhaler out of his pocket. "Sir, no," Toby said as he took one look at the stylized skull and shield on the cylinder. "The sniper wants me. Let's let them have me," John said as he ripped the cover off of the inhaler with his teeth. "I am going to make a run for that alley over there. Each time they actually hit us, it took them around 2.5 seconds to line up the shot, more or less, and I'll be moving," he said as he grinned, shaking the inhaler. "They will track me and try to take a shot. While they are doing that, you take that Juan crap you are carrying and hit them first. Sir, you are going to take a hit of Berserker, sprint out into the line of fire, and bet your life on me being able to spot and hit them in 2.5 seconds? Thum. That one went clean through both armored windows directly above John's head. He grinned. "Yep." Toby just gripped his rifle. "Ready, sir." Toby racked his brain, trying to remember the layouts of all of the buildings and trying to think where he would set up if the roles were reversed. John looked back at him and put the inhaler in his mouth. "We go after the next impact," John said as he triggered the inhaler and breathed deep, his pupils turning into pinpricks. "Oh, hell yeah!" he screamed. Thum. John took off at an insane pace and Toby popped up. Toby saw a flash of radiation and movement through the Harbinger's enhanced optics and opened fire. Just as Morgana fired, she saw that asshole John making a run for it. Just like a Terran coward, she thought, as she tried to quickly move the heavy weapon to line up a shot. He moved into her sights. "Gotcha!" she hissed, but before she could pull the trigger, multiple rounds impacted all around her position. She reflexively jerked, causing the shot to miss, blasting a crater into the pavement behind her target. John fell as chunks of concrete tore into his legs and back, but before she could line up another shot, she recoiled in horror. From every bullet hole, a faintly glowing red gel was flowing out and oozing slowly towards her. She dove for cover as more rounds hit uncomfortably close. It was time to go. Abandoning her weapon, she dove to the ground and using the edge of the building as cover crawled away, as the red tips were zipping harmlessly above her and slamming into the wall behind. Director Axlia walked into the embassy and blew a few sad bubbles as she looked at a new face behind the reception desk. "May I help you?" the human female asked politely. "How's Toby?" "Toby, ma'am? The Kalesh who used to sit there?" "Oh," the female said happily. "You mean Gunnery Sergeant Jolkant? Oh, he's fine. He's on his way back to Terra to get fitted with a new eye." "Well, that's a relief," Axla said with a relieved, bubbly sigh. "Wait. Gunnery Sergeant? Shit. Missed that one." She wagged her head. "Wouldn't have pegged him for a Marine." "You would have if you had him as your gunny. Trust me," the woman said with a grin. "He could be pure evil. God help you if your gear wasn't up to his standard. Not the Marine standard, his standard." "Really? He seems so nice," Axla said. And then the image of him using a scanner to inspect spotless silverware popped into her head. Dang, she thought. The woman just laughed. "He was tough, but he was a great... Wait." She pulled out an old-fashioned notebook and flipped through it. "Eel-like, bot with a globe? Shit!" She then promptly clammed up. "Surprise!" Director Axley said with a flourish of two of her feet. She then looked at the woman expectantly. Any other notes about me in there?" The woman flipped the page. "Oh, yes. She then opened a desk drawer and pulled out a Power Bar Extreme and the same sort of knife that Toby had and sliced it up. Axla frowned slightly. She didn't do it right and didn't tease her before handing them over, but she snapped up the ragged chunks just the same. "Thanks," Axlea said happily. "Is the the ambassador available?" "Let me check," she said to Axlea. Ambassador, are you up to receiving a visitor?" the woman said as she pressed the intercom. Who is it?" A groggy voice answered. "Me, Cockbite," Axlea said into the intercom before the woman could stop her. "Yeah, send the bitch in." Axlea looked around in surprise when she entered his office. His desk and chair had been replaced by a hospital bed and nightstand. John was laying there, reviewing reports from a large hollow screen suspended at the foot of his bed. He looked like shit. "I can't believe you let some porkies fuck you up like this," she said with a malicious bubble. "Fuck you! Oh, I got your flowers," he said, gesturing to a lovely bouquet with a huge silvery balloon emblazoned with cute pink hearts, and in a pretty flowing script the words, "I hope it hurts you, miserable fuck." "I wasn't sure what was appropriate," Axla said with a chuckle. "It's the thought that counts, right?" "Bitch," John laughed. "Oh, we got gun camera footage off of Toby's piece of shit rifle. It was Morgana behind that goddamn cannon." "Surprise, surprise," Axla said, wagging her head. "On the bright side, looks like she lost her zeush." "Thank God for that," John said. "Yeah, we had to pressure wash enough of your Terran ass off the streets as it is. What the fuck was she using? An adjudicator anti-tank gun." "Well, that explains it," he said, rubbing his stump thoughtfully. "Don't worry, we're going to get that bitch," Director Axley said with a snarl. "Oh, don't concern yourself overmuch," John said with a grin. He was waiting for this part. "I'm going to be in the shop for a little bit, so they are sending a temporary replacement. She will be handling the investigation on our end." "Fuck," Axla said. "And just who will that be?" John just laughed. "Patricia who?" Axla's globe filled with bubbles. "You gotta be shitting me." "Nope. They remembered which layer of hell they banished her to and dug her up especially for this. She's not dead yet?" "Are you kidding? She is too evil to die," John said with a chuckle. "She's wasting a trip," Axla said. "Morgana Farstan will be dead before she gets here." "Better hope so," John laughed. "If not, you will have Patricia Hu with full diplomatic immunity and a mandate from the Republic on your hands. You are behind this. You did this just to fuck with me. Hell no. Do you think I want that monster running around here? I tried every goddamn thing I could think of to stop this. I even said nice things about you of all people. Want to know the worst part? She's staying." "Fucking what?" "Yep, she's going to be the new deputy ambassador to the Federation. Old Morgana royally pissed off the wrong people back home. They wanted to ensure this doesn't happen again." "Oh, fuck me. Fuck both of us." It was around midnight when Cyrus arrived at the same abandoned lot he did the last time he met with Morgana. He smiled to himself. He was finally going to get that bitch. The best part was he wasn't going to have to lift a single finger. In the shadows, Morgana saw him pull up with only 2 people this time. He had called her earlier that day saying that he set up a meet with Sheila. Finally. It took him long enough, but I guess the thought of more of his business going up in flames finally got him to get off of his ass, she thought to herself. She checked the stun rifle in her hands. He said that she usually showed up with only a couple of people. Her guys, her new ones, were going to take out her cronies, and she was going to stun the bitch and take her time with her. She might even join old Cyrus for a little barbecue. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed an odd distortion. Optical shielding. She whirled and fired, hitting the blur dead center. The shield dispersed, revealing none other than the director Axlea herself. "Shit!" she yelled, and went for her blaster. It was too late. A single gunshot rang out. Suddenly, she was in agony. It was as if her entire body was on fire. She fell down and started to convulse. Axlea walked up and stood over her. "I was going to have it done clean, but you have no idea how much trouble you have just caused me," Axlea said. "Goodbye, bitch." Morgana screamed as the blood started to weep from her eyes. She screamed for a very long time. Morgana was still screaming when Axlea walked up to Cyrus. "That her?" Cyrus asked, grinning from ear to ear. Yes, red tip. Good. Serves her right, Cyrus said with a laugh. I was hoping to have a barbecue, though. Oops. It's all good. You get rid of a pain in my ass and owe me a favor. Not a bad night. Yeah, Axley said. About that. One of her feet shot up with blinding speed, grabbed Cyrus's head, and crushed it like a grape as a blur suddenly shot down from above, cutting down his two henchmen. A blood-splattered Exley wiped off its claws and turned to Director Axlia. Sounds like she is having fun, he said as he nodded towards Morgana. Red tips are a bitch, Axlia chuckled. So everything else is in motion. Yes, Director, the Exeli said calmly. By morning, the entire Red Teeth organization will be dead, not just here, but on all worlds on which they operate, and their families, the Exeli said with some distaste. Problem? No, just a question, the Exeli said evenly. Why the families? Even the children? Especially the children, Axlia said. Xeri Nek Z, you are a good agent and have a real future here, so I will give you some advice, Axlia said calmly. When you are fighting humans, even porkies, all flames must be extinguished, all loose threads cut, all family killed, leave nothing behind you. It's the only way to be sure. It's the only way you can win. She paused to listen to the screams echoing across the lot and smiled. The Exela just looked at her with a mix of admiration and horror. It was easy to forget exactly why she was the Director of Intelligence. Only every now and again did one get a reminder. You hungry? Axla asked. There is this great little diner open in the Crystal District. They have the best sausage. Might as well, the ex-Zeli said with a chuckle. I just found out how it's made after all.